This is Dr. Rob Frankel. I am an emergency medicine and anti-aging physician, and welcome to the Modern Man podcast. We are entering this space where we are going to be talking about male aesthetics, male health, male wellness, and it's going to be a fun experience for all of us. Things that many of us are maybe uncomfortable, maybe there's a stigma to it, but things that we want to, as we get older, really understand and really know. So it's going to be a cool experience for everyone. We're going to be talking about all different topics. There's going to be heavy on aesthetics. We're going to be talking about injectables. We're going to be talking about Botox. We're going to be talking about all different, skincare, but also we are going to be talking about health and wellness, hormone therapy, as well as we're going to be talking about, health and fitness, IV therapy. So take the journey with me. It's going to be lots of fun. Today's episode should be lots of fun. So enjoy it and welcome to the podcast. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about what we call Brotox. Now, Brotox is the accepted way that we, as guys, discuss using Botox. Botox, for a lot of guys, they are a little uncomfortable with. There's a little bit of a stigma, but actually, Botox is a really helpful tool for guys. A lot of times when I talk to guys about using Botox, they'll think that they don't want to look plastic. They don't want to look like the late Joan Rivers. But the reality is that as we age, we want to get to the point where we don't want to see the lines around our eyes. Those lines we affectionately call crow's feet in the aesthetic world. We don't want to see the lines between our eyes. Those lines we call the 11s, and the forehead lines as well. Now, you can have these lines still present, and they could just be softened, so you can still have a more youthful appearance and still be rugged as a guy, or you can completely get rid of these lines and have a more smooth appearance. There are different ways to do Botox, so that way you don't always have a completely plastic appearance. And most of my patients will tell you that I always create a more natural appearance for my patients, and that's our goal, is to always look natural, because that's really what you want to do. You want to have something where somebody looks at you and says they're not sure what you did, but you just look more refreshed, you look more awake, you look younger, you look better. And that's really the whole point of it. You go get haircuts, you go to the gym, you go to places just to take care of yourself. And Botox is just that type of thing that we should be doing for as well. So it really is something that everyone should kind of consider, and I'll talk a little bit about it. If you do, if guys have it done correctly, Botox is very different than when women get it done. Now, when women get it done, the things that they want to have done is they want their eyebrows very high, a lot of times, and some guys like this too, but for the most part, they don't. and they want kind of a more kind of just flattened appearance of their forehead. Where for guys, we want a more kind of just refreshed look, definitely smoothness around your eyes, because that kind of gives you that more kind of awake appearance, kind of that, more youthful appearance, and just, more of, a more happy appearance. One of the things that you find that as we get older, just as our mouth actually starts to turn downwards, which I'll talk about in some later episodes, which is really interesting. A lot of the things on our face start to change and kind of turn downwards, and it gives us kind of a kind of unhappy look, or just not like our cheerful self. Our eyes also start to turn downwards as well. And when that happens, it also gives us that appearance of maybe not only being more awake or more youthful, but it also kind of gives you kind of a less happy appearance. And when you do something like Botox, what it does is it gives you that appearance that the eyes actually come more to a more neutral place. And if I had the ruler and I'd be able to show you, but it's basically your eyes would be coming, more to a neutral area, and you're not having that downward appearance. And so what that does is it doesn't give you that kind of that more sad look or more tired look or, more kind of worn down look. It gives you more kind of that youthful, kind of awake and more happy look. And so that's what really part of the appeal of getting Botox around the eyes is. Now, around the area around between the eyes, now this is an interesting look, because a lot of times when people have that kind of furrow around the eyes, like in between the eyes, they call it the 11s. So the 11s is that line that's created between the eyebrows, and you could see if you take a look and you kind of make a scrunchy face in the mirror, you'll see that you can make an 11 with it, right? So if you have that more often than not, a lot of times it gives you the appearance that you're angry. And one of the funny things is that a lot of my patients, both my male and female patients that come see me, they say that when they do get Botox, a lot of times their kids don't know that they're angry at them anymore. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but the point is that when you're presenting yourself, you don't want to present yourself as somebody who's angry, right? You want to present yourself as somebody who's more appealing, more kind of approachable, for whatever it is, whether you're talking about your just day-to-day life, whether it is in work, or whether it is in any like social setting. You want to be more approachable, and so helping to make the 11s a little less noticeable, or actually they're with Botox, they're essentially go away for the period of time that the Botox is there. You actually don't have that appearance of kind of that angered appearance, or your like pensive appearance, I guess you would say. So you can easily get rid of that with a little Botox. And then the last thing that we work with guys is their forehead. And a lot of times you notice that you have, just from whether worry lines or just kind of every day to day, you develop these kind of creases in your forehead, and sometimes they give you that, appearance of being, your experience, your long experience, or the long days of, work that you've done. But, it does kind of age you as well. So you can also kind of lighten the appearance of those lines as well with Botox. So you can do Botox without looking fake. That's the first kind of lesson that I'm going to tell you. When my guys come in to see me, I tell them that, look, we're not going to make you look plastic. You're not going to look fake. You're going to just look more refreshed. You're going to look happier. And it's most of the people that see you won't even realize you had it done. And so that's really the goal of what you want to do when you do Botox. So I know that a lot of you think that if you do this and you would try Botox, you'd be the only one. I can tell you the reality is that over the last 4 to 5 years, that in practice, that our practice probably started, it was about 25 to 30% of men that were coming to get injectables and aesthetics. Now that number has kind of reached up to 40 to 45%. And my goal is to have even a larger percentage of male patients, because I think that you realize that once you start doing it, the guys that do it are really happy. And it's just kind of the first time that you do it. That's the kind of the fun thing. Now, a lot of times, the first time we have patients, it's their partners doing it, and they're sitting in the chair, and I'll kind of coax them. I'm like, try it, and they will, and then next thing you know, then next thing you know, they're coming back for their 2-week follow-up, and they're like, wow, I didn't expect this. This looks really nice. And I was getting compliments from my coworkers, and then from there on, all of a sudden, it becomes part of their life. And that's kind of what happens. It just becomes part of your life. Now, how long does it last? Like I said, Botox only lasts for 3-4 months. For some people, they'll do it every 3-4 months. Some people do it every 6 months. And it's really up to you. I mean, once it wears off, it goes back to where you started to a degree. You will have some degree of that weakness there, meaning that you won't have the full, areas of wrinkles that you were initially. So it's probably not as bad as it was when you started. Now, a lot of people ask me, like, well, I've heard that when you do Botox and you stop doing it, you get so much worse. Well, that's not true. When you do it and you stop, a lot of times you'll go back to where you started, and just like anything else, you don't remember what you looked like before you started, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is not what I like, because you kind of got used to what you look like with Botox. So that's kind of more the reality. And then, of course, look, I mean, we all age. We're all going to keep aging. And so, yeah, you will change as you get older too. So people can come in every 3 to 4 months, every 6 months. Some people come in, wait a year. So it really kind of depends upon you. There's no, like I said, it's not going to be a situation where, oh, if I don't do it, then something catastrophic is going to happen to me. So when you get it done, a lot of people ask, well, they sit in a chair and they're like, well, I still have the wrinkles. Well, Botox takes about 7 to 10 days. Now, there are a couple of different types of toxin. There's something called Dysport. There's something called Xeomin. Those are kind of the three main toxins that are out there. There's a few others, but I'm going to focus on those three. So Dysport, that actually kicks in about 3 days, and it lasts about 3 to 4 months. Botox kicks in about 7 to 10 days, and that lasts about 3 to 4 months. Xeomin kicks in about 7 to 10 days also, and that lasts about 2.5 months in reality. So when you finish the Botox, you're not gonna see the results for about a week, at least. And so usually you do your follow-up visit in 2 weeks. That's usually the peak of when the results happen. And so that's when I'll usually see my patients to have them come back in 2 weeks, and we'll be able to see, hey, this is what, this is where you're at. And then we'll say, I'll see you in 3 or 4 months. And, and that's basically what it is. So really the reality is that I hope this gave you a little bit of information about Botox, neurotoxin, Dysport, Xeomin, all the different toxins. They're all the same in that they help weaken muscle to create a cosmetic effect. And what you're really only trying to do is you're trying to create that cosmetic effect that just helps you look more refreshed, not fake, not plastic. You should never be getting toxin to have a fake appearance. Even if you want to have no movement in any of your muscles of your, say, forehead. And I have a lot of male patients who want that. And definitely a lot of female patients who want that as well. You should never look fake. And that's, I firmly believe that in every injectable experience. Like, you should never look fake because of the fact that you want to have the experience that you should look like yourself, except you should have the appearance that something looks different. You might not know what it is, but you look improved, more awake, more refreshed, a little bit more youthful. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, that's what the look should be. And that's really it. And it's not a scary experience. Now, does it hurt? The needles that we use are tiny little needles, insulin syringes, if you've ever seen them. They're tiny, small needles. And so you'll read online, or somebody will tell you, well, I had to get 40 units of Botox to do my face. So that's true. Most average patient, on average, patients are going to get somewhere between 30 and 50 units. to do Botox. But that doesn't mean you get 40 injections. Each muscle is going to have different number of units that you need to get. There are some muscles on the face that you need to use 5 units in just one muscle. So the average number of injections are somewhere between 5 to 10 injections you'll have in one visit. And usually by the time I get started and done, most patients are like, when are you starting? So it's a pretty mild experience compared to what you might think. Sure, you're getting needles in your face. There's always some pinchies, but for the most part, it's not painful at all. So I hope this helped. I hope this helped out. I hope this gave you some kind of information if you were interested to thinking about doing some type of neurotoxin, Botox. You could definitely comment below. Every episode, I'm going to be talking about these different things for guys, because of the fact that a lot of times there is just not enough information, or guys just don't want to venture into this space. And so we're going to venture in this space together. I'm going to give you the information. You're going to have to take this information. I'm going to give it to you, so you're going to have to listen. And so it'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. And I'll give it to you straight. I'm not going to bang it over your head, but for the most part, I'm going to give it to you straight. And we'll have some guests on for certain things. And besides for aesthetics, we are going to talk about some hormone health. We're going to talk about some exercise. We're going to have different guests on as well, IV therapy. So we're going to have some pretty cool topics that I'm going to be discussing with you. So I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope you join us. I hope you will continue to like and share. And again, I appreciate you following us. And if you like this content, please like the podcast and follow us for our next installment. This again is Dr. Rob Frankel, and this is The Modern Man.